What's going on, everyone? The Lakers are officially getting Dennis Schroder and Thomas Bryant back, and this is great news, right? It's two legit rotation guys that are coming in that can make an impact, really help this team. You got guys that can score, put the ball in the hoop, guard multiple positions, play multiple positions. Dennis Schroder, you got playmaking, you got floor stretching, you got somebody that can play just solid defense, 3-and-D, both sides of the ball, especially if you get Germany Dennis Schroder. He was fantastic over the summer. He can come in and really help. Thomas Bryant, again, a guy that can give you, 14 and 8 a game. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. He's done it before. He looked a little rocky in preseason, but you got to take into account he was coming off of injury, so it might take him a little bit to kind of get his legs under him. But if he can get into the swing of things, talking about a legit player. You're talking about a guy that is very similar to Miles Turner, who many people want, just without the shot blocking, right? Doesn't really have the defense that a Miles Turner does. But as far as stat-wise goes, they're very similar. Thomas Bryant is actually a better shooter. I do think Miles Turner is a bigger impact player, if you kind of get what I mean. I feel like his presence is just more impactful on the game than Thomas Bryant, but we might not need somebody like that. We might just need somebody that can come in and kind of fill that role, allow AD to shift to the 4. Now, I don't think these two are going to come in and make us contenders or anything like that, but it's a start in the right direction. Two quality role guys that really help and benefit this team. And I've talked about on several occasions, the Lakers need 3, 4, 5 players. Well, if these two can come in, play that role, average, say, 25 to 30 points between the two of them, get you, 10 plus rebounds and, 7 assists, something like that. Well, then that's a huge benefit for the Lakers. That's something that really does help. And now maybe we don't need 4 or 5 guys. Maybe we only need 2 or 3 guys. If I told you right now, hey, the Lakers could add a, 20, 10, and 5 guy, the entire world would be like, that's it. We're winning the championship, 20, 10, and 5 guy. Come on, who is it? And I was like, oh, it's Dennis Schroder and Thomas Bryant. People would be like, not. But in reality, that's what we could get, between these two. 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, at least, if not more. Because these are both guys that are capable of doing that. Again, I don't think that they make us contenders, but it's a step in the right direction, and it opens the door for potential trades, right? Rob Pelinka, he wants to see what Dennis Schroder and Thomas Bryant can offer this team and bring this team and what the team looks like in full swing, right? Which is understandable because based on how they look, and specifically these two, because you're talking about a center and you're talking about a guard, 2 positions that likely get filled in particular trades, right? Depending on the trade. Like I said, the Pacers trade, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, right? Do we really need Miles Turner if Thomas Bryant is giving you, 15 and 8 a game? Probably not. You probably don't need that, right? So now you can address the perimeter issues and the 3-point shooting. Maybe you look at just trying to get Buddy Hield and then, try to use some other assets to go get other guys, right? And address real needs, because why would you trade for something that isn't a real need if you already have it? It gives them a lot of potential. Also, Dennis Schroder more than anything, right? Now, Russell Westbrook has been fantastic. He's been, ever since he came off the bench, he's been a real impact player. Problem is that Russell Westbrook is the only real contract we have that can completely turn the Lakers around, right? He's a guy that can get back 2, 3, 4 players, especially something like the Spurs deal. You could theoretically get 4 players, 3 players, and then a trade exception that you could use to go get another player. But how do you trade Russell Westbrook the way he's playing when you don't have another option, right? Russ was playing very well, but the Lakers didn't have another guard until Schroder comes back. If Schroder comes in and plays great, right? Say Schroder gives us, 15, 5, and 5. Well, now Russell Westbrook becomes a lot more expendable. It becomes a lot easier to kind of find a trade for Russ, where if you don't have Schroder, it's what are your other options? LeBron plays point guard for 40 minutes, or you have Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley play point guard, and they've been atrocious Or you're having Austin Reeves, who it's his second year, have to elevate his playmaking, or Walker, or you don't have that solidified just point guard level player. And now that Schroder is back, we can give him a couple games, kind of see where is he, and is he able to kind of fit in and get in the swing of things. Not just that, but Dennis Schroder with LeBron James and Anthony Davis during the last stint was a plus 15. They were one of the best trios in the league that year. So if he can kind of get back to that, well, then now Russell Westbrook, you don't have as big of a need for him. Now you can use him to go trade. Also, it makes Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn a lot more expendable and a lot easier to unload, because what you were hoping, Patrick Beverley provides the defense and hopefully some scoring. Kendrick Nunn provides the offense and hopefully some defense. Both of these guys are providing neither of it, right? Like you're getting nothing from Kendrick Nunn at all. Kendrick Nunn's essentially becoming unplayable. And then Patrick Beverley, he's been solid defensively, but he's not giving you the scoring that you need. And he's our next sizable contract that we can use. These two guys are the next best contract to go get a piece or two that we need, right? So if Dennis Schroder comes in and he can provide the defense of Patrick Beverley and the offensive output that we were hoping Kendrick Nunn could do, well, then there you go. Now you don't need these two guys, right? So now you can look to trade Russell Westbrook, look to trade these two guys. But before Dennis Schroder came, you were relying on these two guys. And it was like, well, we can't trade Russ, because if we trade Russ, we have 2 point guards that are basically useless right now. Right? Like, so how do we get rid of Russ when he's our 3rd, 4th most consistent guy? You know, between him, Walker, LeBron, and Davis, right? Like, you can't get rid of that because you don't have production anywhere else. But if Schroder comes in and can provide that production, well, then now you don't need Russ as much. So now you can use Russell Westbrook to go get other guys to fit other positions of need and really kind of bolster this offense, bolster this team in general, and maybe allow some of these other guys like an Austin Reeves, a Troy Brown, you know, guys like that to kind of go into a more natural role of like a bench role unit. And now we actually have like a legit bench. We have a legit starting 5. It makes a lot more sense. You also have Dennis Schroder, right? So you have point guard duties, things like that. If you want to keep Pat Bev, you can keep Pat Bev. If you want to keep Nunn, you can keep Nunn. But regardless, I think if Dennis Schroder plays great and he really is like becoming a viable piece, I really think you probably trade I think I would trade Beverly, I'd trade Nunn, and I'd trade Russell Westbrook. Try to go get several pieces. But again, if Thomas Bryant comes in and he can play that guy, well, now you don't have the need for center the way you did before, right? Because Winning Gabriel has been fantastic for the Lakers. Damian Jones has been a little rough. Maybe you can unload him in a trade and kind of help in that regard. But realistically, you're probably stuck with him, which, okay, you have that just like break glass in case of emergency big, like, you know, Davis and everyone is down and it's like we need somebody that's big. Well, we have Damian Jones at least. Maybe he could play, you know, a few minutes in spots, certain matchups, stuff like that. That could help, right? But you don't need Miles Turner if Thomas Bryant can give you, you know, 15 and 7, you know, or even just 10 and 7, right? Especially if, like, you know, on a good production, spreading the floor, doing all the things. A lot of the stuff that that people want from Miles Turner, Thomas Bryant can provide a lot of that stuff. Again, he just doesn't have the shot blocking, but he has the floor spacing. He shoots a better percentage. You know, he's a good rebounder. He's not great, but he's a good. Neither is Miles Turner, but he's a good rebounder, and he's a guy that can make the same impact. I mean, he was starter level. He was a guy that was great for Washington, had some monster games. Like, he can make an impact. So could Dennis Schroder. And then again, these guys become expendable. I just think Miles Turner would be great. And look, if the Lakers trade for Miles Turner tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset. But also, Dennis Schroder would help in that regard, right? Because if Dennis Schroder is great, but let's say Thomas Bryant is like, it's very clear he's a role player, he's a backup big, right? And it's like, all right, you have Thomas Bryant and Winnie Gabriel as your backup bigs, but we could use another big because Damian Jones is essentially unplayable. Okay. Then you could take Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn and try to go get Miles Turner, right? Because all the Pacers want, they just want the assets. They just want the picks, right? So you could take the expiring contracts, give them to the Pacers, give them a first round pick. Now you got Miles Turner, right? And now you still have another first with Russell Westbrook. Maybe go get another piece or two, and now you have your front court rotation is Davis, Turner, Gabriel, and Bryant. Like that's one of the better front court rotations, if not the best front court rotation in the entire league. So that's pretty solid if you're the Lakers. But again, you got to see what this team can do and what they're capable of before you make that type of trade, before you make that type of move. Because why go and get Miles Turner? And it's like you just wasted your trade when you already had like a Miles Turner light on your team. And you could have used the same assets to get Miles Turner to go get like, several pieces, like say the Charlotte deal, right? Like maybe that's the better deal now. Because if Dennis Schroder and Thomas Bryant are great, well then you don't need another point. You don't need another guard and another, center, right? You could probably use a scorer. So Terry Rozier makes sense. Go get Terry Rozier and then get Gordon Hayward and Kelly Oubre. Or maybe you could even talk them into giving you, PJ Washington or something like that, right? And now you're in a position to where you just solved your wing depth issue. And it's like, okay, cool. Like now you got Thomas Bryant, now you got Anthony Davis, you got Gordon Hayward, you got LeBron James, and you got Walker, let's say, for your starting five, or Kelly Oubre, right? But now you have, let's say Walker and, Schroeder and Brown and Gabriel and Reeves and, all of these. It's like, man, okay, like this team is now really good, really deep, and they solved all their wing issues. Like now they don't have those holes. So it's like, well, what are the holes for the Lakers right now, right? Rebounding, shooting, obviously, scoring in general, and perimeter defense and size, right? But if you could solve your rebounding and just center issue and size issue down low, well then now you crossed off one of those issues, right? So now you don't have the lack of rebounding and the lack of center position. Well, now you need a scorer, 3-point shooting, and wing depth. So go look for those things. It's just, I think however you shake it, we gotta see how these guys look. And it makes sense. It kind of fits Rob Pelinka's timeline of after Thanksgiving, right? Which is the 24th. So you look at it like this, that by that time they'll play 3-4 games. That'll kind of give them an idea of what to expect. They could even maybe ride it out, if the Lakers are winning, ride it out couple games maybe towards the end of the month. These next 7 games, you get a good sample size. There's your 20 games, which Rob Pelinka said he wanted to wait originally. And then you got this juggernaut in December. You just have this like tough stretch. Well, maybe then you could go do a trade, or like right before that stretch, go get a trade done to get the pieces you need, and then hopefully you can kind of turn the season around, maybe get to contention. I just think right now you clearly have a ton of guard depth, too much, right? And 2 guys are completely useless. 1 guy has been great for you, but he's the guy that is most likely to be traded because he's the most sizable fit. So you need somebody to replace him. Well, Dennis Schroder can be that replacement. Dennis Schroder comes in, he kind of makes the other 3 guards expendable. I still think, Russ is still the better player, but again, he's the only real sizable tradable asset that could really just turn the roster around and give us a full rehaul to kind of maybe get to contention this year. And, you can't do that with anyone else. Patrick Beverley is your next best contract, but he's only $13 million. Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn together are only about $18 million. So you're very limited on the type of talent you could get. But it is enough to get you, like I said, 1 or 2 players. You could go get, say, a Miles Turner, or you could even get like a Jakob Poeltl and a Josh Richardson with those 2. right? So like that helps as well. It's just things that to keep in mind, and it makes sense why maybe a deal hasn't been done yet. I know so many people want a deal to just get done, get it over with, go pull the trigger, go do that, but you kind of need to see what does this team need, because you don't want to go do a deal and it isn't for needs, right? And it's like, okay, well now you just redundant, right? Like, you end up go, like, let's say you go do the Pacers deal, you get Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, and like Miles Turner and Thomas Bryant are basically giving the same production. It's like, well, we didn't really need three centers that are able to give you 15 and 8. We could have used our assets to go get a couple other guys, or maybe you're just looking at getting Buddy Hield with Beverly and Nunn, and then you're using Russell Westbrook to go get some wing depth and some other players and some defense, stuff like that. It's just, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But it is exciting that these two are coming back. I do think that they're going to make an impact. Again, I don't think that they're going to just turn us around, make us contenders overnight. But I do think that these are two guys that come in and really kind of help just make the rotation more solid, more stable is a big thing. But again, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think, yes, this makes a lot of sense, trade should be following once we kind of see what we got? Do you think, no, Rob Pelinka isn't going to do a trade, period, or you don't think he's going to, or whatever? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comment section below.